5 reasons that cruisers are frustrated. MSC is looking for some crew members for an August 1st cruise. I got more creators I want to tell you about, and so much more in today's episode of the Lido Loca Cruise Show. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Tony. Thank you for stopping by today. If you enjoyed that cruising and travel content, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. So here we go. June the 15th, 2020, a Monday after another turbulent weekend here in the United States. Such a challenging time on all fronts. The pandemic, racism, unrest in the country, people feeling devalued, a lot of things going on. I don't have the answers to any of that, but the one thing that I believe that I've seen work in my life is that as we love and sacrifice for others, wounds can be healed. And so I would just appeal to those people who pray to pray, and for people that like to break it down on an intellectual level, see if we can take it to the level of empathy, take it to the level of love and sacrifice. But I don't know how to fix it. And so, but I do want to acknowledge that it's a challenging time in the country. And I do believe that love and prayer is powerful. So we'll go from there. Now, let me talk a little bit about our weekend. The big news for Jenny and I is we got out of the house and we wanted to go to a beach. We really were going on a scouting mission. It wasn't like we wanted to go to the beach to go swimming or lay in the sun or anything like that. I just wanted to see what the beaches were like around here. I'm looking for a place where I can go walk where there's water. I kind of miss the water because we've been inside for so long and we haven't been out on the sea. And that was really it. We ended up going to 3 places yesterday. We didn't actually get to the water, but we did find a place that we could go back to. That's the too long don't read version of it. The only thing I want to share here in today's video is this tragic incident of this RV guy who ran into a fence at one of the beaches and didn't have a clue that he ran into the fence. I have to turn around. This poor RV just ran into the gate. Ooh.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's still connected. Oh, it's gonna get stuck. Oh, no. We were contemplating going on an RV trip, but I don't know. This RV didn't look that big, and the guy ran into a fence and didn't even know. So I don't know. RV people out there, is it easy to drive an RV? Is this guy just not driving well? What's the deal? But I'll leave a link to yesterday's video of us going to find a beach. Sorta. Now, last Friday, we started off with a little bit of a creator spotlight. Going to continue that. These are people that I've been watching or listening to frequently, and this is primarily around cruising and travel. Maybe later on in the next few episodes, I'll talk about people non-travel, but let me give you a few more people to add to your subscription list. Emma Cruises. I like to watch Emma Cruises. She's a UK-based cruiser. She does a lot of solo cruising. She's been cruising most of her life. She has a lot of interesting cruise tips, and I know it sounds funny, and I don't know if it works in reverse, but she has a UK accent, which makes the content seem that much more elevated. I don't know if our American accents make the content seem less elevated. I don't want to say that, but to our American ears, sometimes when you hear an accent, you're like, ooh, that must be important. And so, yes, I enjoy several UK cruisers. I'll tell you more about them along the way. But today, let's spotlight Emma. Go check her out. Another person that I like to listen to, and I don't think it's because he has an accent, but it could be, Tommy Casabona at the Always Be Booked podcast. This is one of my favorite cruising podcasts. Tommy is a New York guy with interesting perspectives on cruising, and I do enjoy listening to Tommy's podcast. Make sure you check out the Always Be Booked podcast. And then another cruising channel that most of the time when I see their thumbnails on the TV, this is a channel I will watch and usually get past a few minutes of watching. It's the Ship Show. I think the reason I like these guys is because they give an alternative presentation to things. It's not just your standard fare that everybody else is doing. So I appreciate the fact that they try to get a little creative. They're a little bit silly. They're a little bit funny. We just finished up a series of videos, the Love and Marriage Show, with the Ship Show and another channel, Sharon at Sea. And yes, the Ship Show, they bring the funny, they bring the yucks, and they bring cruising to you in a different way. I would recommend them to you. Now, I do want to talk one cruise news story before we talk about the main topic, 5 reasons that cruisers are frustrated. This is an MSC Cruise story. This comes from June the 11th, so a few days ago, and this was from the cruiseindustrynews.com website. Title, headline, MSC looking for crew for potential August the 1st startup. That's what I like. I mean, we just talked about it a couple days ago. Carnival gave us the old head bob that they might start on August the 1st, but probably not on August the 1st, or maybe not. Who knows? We're still dependent on other factors. But MSC, they are looking for potential crew members for an August 1st sailing in the Mediterranean. So some different circumstances over there in Europe. Europe dealing a little bit better than we are right now with things that are going on. They sent out a letter to their workers that were already on cruise ships saying, would you like to come over to the Med for an August 1st sailing? That would be interesting if sailings begin August the 1st in Europe. Hopefully that would pave the way for sailings in the United States. Again, a lot of different regulations. So I don't think seeing cruising begin in Europe would actually be a full start, a complete green light for U.S. cruising. But I do like the fact that they're trying to get crew members to a ship that they want to put passengers on. So just a little bit of cruise news there. MSC Cruises looking for crew members to join a ship over there. Let me see if it tells me what the ship name is. That might be interesting. It doesn't tell me what the ship name is. So yeah, just a ship in the Med. MSC looking for crew members. So let's get to the main event, 5 reasons that cruisers are frustrated. It would have been easier to do this list about a year ago. We could have named things off like, shorts in the dining room or chair savers, any of those kind of things. But now it's a lot different. Let me tell you where the data set comes from. Most of this comes from the comments on the videos that we make here at Lido Loca. A lot of people express their frustration in those comments. And then also at the Lido Loca Cruising community, that's another place where people can go and lament when things haven't gone exactly the way they want them to go. And so, so I have a little bit of insight this way based off of these core audiences here on YouTube and then also over there on Facebook. So let's kick off the list. Number 1, cancellations. Cruisers are frustrated with cancellations. It's been a little bit of a moving target since cancellations began in March. We've seen it here at Lido Loca on the travel side. People's cruises getting canceled in April, rebooking for June, getting canceled in June, rebooking in early July, getting canceled in early July, and who knows when to rebook again. So it's been a very tumultuous time when it comes to cruising, just because there's no clear information as to when cruising will resume. And so I feel like there's almost a cancellation fatigue out there where people are they were excited, not excited, but they were accepting when cruises got canceled in the beginning and they moved them. But once you go through that cycle 2 or 3 times, accepting becomes annoyance becomes frustration. So cancellations, one of those things where crews are definitely frustrated right now. Number 2, communications. A lot of the frustration around cancellations probably related to communication. We saw the insightful mistake comment made by Carnival Cruise Line saying, yes, they did put out a potential sailing again in August, but it was misconstrued, that it wasn't necessarily what they meant, but People did feel like that's what they meant, and it was good because they learned something from it. But yeah, it all falls under that communication thing. It's it's the blind leading the naked, right? Is that a saying? The blind leading the naked, something like that, or the naked leading the blind leading the naked. Nobody knows. I mean, at the end of the day, it's hard to communicate information that you don't know, and I'm assuming that nobody knows. I mean, you have to go down two paths. Either the information is known and then it's being communicated in a way that's not clear for some other reason, or nobody knows and everybody's just guessing. That's what I tend to think. Communication is frustrating. The story changes frequently with almost everything, meaning that it's hard to actually glean anything from the communication that we're getting other than let's wait and see. Number 3 on the list, health protocols. People are frustrated with the idea of health protocols. Again, it's one of those deals that nobody knows what it's about. Do I need a doctor's note if I'm 70? Am I going to be excluded because I'm obese? Do I have to only walk on the right side of the ship? Will I have to wear a hazmat suit? Will they give me a blood test? Will my temperature? Nobody knows, but the idea of health protocols, the worry about health protocols, it's something that people have been vocal about, people frustrated about, and unfortunately, people are frustrated about things that haven't been announced yet. And to me, that's a layer of stress that you don't need. But again, I like to speculate on it, and so I don't know. I'm curious as to what the health protocols would be, but you got to take all that with a grain of salt when you're doing your speculation, when you're doing your what ifs. If something starts to push you over the edge and you're starting to get frustrated about it, just remind yourself, we don't know what it's going to be. No need to get upset. Nothing's a thing until it's a thing. Just take a deep breath and think for the best, and then deal with it if it's not the best. So health protocols, people getting frustrated about it. Number 4 on the list, people don't like the CDC, at least cruisers. They see the CDC as the obstacle for the return to cruising, at least for U.S. cruising, and they might be right. They are definitely the gatekeeper in this situation. They are the organization in the U.S. that's going to make the go, no-go decision for cruising, at least for right now. They could get overridden, but the CDC holding the no-sell order over the cruising industry until July the 24th, that thing could be extended. Hopefully it just expires, but because they hold that kind of power, because they are the gatekeeper, the arbiter of what can happen and what cannot happen, cruisers who are ready to cruise a little bit frustrated with the CDC. You see that come out in the comments. We don't like the CDC. And number 5 on the list, refunds and future cruise credits. Again, this is a deal where you paid your money. It was instantly taken from you. And then when your cruise got canceled, you now have to wait up to 90 days or longer in some cases to get your money back. This one's simple math. Could you imagine this happening in every facet of life? Say you buy something and all of a sudden that thing doesn't work, making it unuseful to you, and you take it back to the store and you say, I spent all this money yesterday. Now I'd like to return this thing that doesn't work for me. And they go, okay, well, you can have your money back in 90 days. To me, that is analogous. You canceled my cruise. You made it to where I could not use the cruise. You took my money toot sweet right away. And now you're telling me to wait. And I know it's a challenging time. I know you got to work through your process, but can we speed that process up? A lot of people frustrated about refunds and then future cruise credits. Future cruise credits, in many instances, your cruise got canceled that you had to pay a deposit on. Your cruise got canceled. Now you have a future cruise credit for all that money that you paid. But to book another cruise, in some cases, you have to make another deposit. Why do I have to pay more money to use my future cruise credit? It's not true in every case, but in some cases it is, and that could be frustrating. Don't you miss when the big beef was about the people that would put their towel on the chair? I kind of do. I am ready for this to change, but look, I want to bring it up. I want to acknowledge it. I'm just one person, but I do want to say I understand for all you people that are out there that are frustrated, and I just want to affirm that your frustrations are valid, and not much we can do about it now, but work through it. But it's frustrating times. On the last show, we talked about which form of travel would be safest once travel resumes. If you haven't seen that, make sure you check it out. What do you think about these frustrations? Leave a comment below. Thanks again for stopping by the show. Show your support by hitting the like button. This is Tony with the Lido Loca Cruise Show, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido. Bye.